Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Was Neglected and Become the Dragon Sage God Part 1. Before we start, please go support Destroyer God 91 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. Forging My Own Destiny. On Hagakure no Sato 12 am. Our story starts here from the Namikaze Uzumaki household. In the garden we could see two red-haired girls who are trying to climb up a tree and are failing horribly. Their parents were helping them to do the tree climbing exercise correctly. All in all, this is a picture of a perfect family. Well, why wouldn't it be? It is the family of the 4th Hokage Minato Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, the Yellow Flash, and Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, the Red Death. The redhead girl is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. She is a mirror reflection of her mother Kushina, just like her younger sister Narumi. They are spending their time with great joy like nothing could ever happen. But unbeknownst to them, we see a boy looking at the family from the window from his room with a look of sadness on his face. The boy had blonde hair similar to Minato but a little more blonde. I was none other than Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. He is the oldest son of Minato and Kushina. Now stop. I know that you have questions to why he is not with them. Well, that started a while back. Flashback 6 years ago. With half of the village destroyed in front of us, civilians trying to repair the damaged buildings and shinobis are helping them with heavy lifting. The village was in a state of panic and chaos because just a week ago the village was attacked by the 9-tailed demon fox. But luckily for them, their savior the 4th Hokage saved them by sealing the demon fox inside his own children, Naruto and Narumi, and then announced the children as the heroes of the village for keeping the fox at bay. Flashback end. Flashback 1 year ago. Narumi and Naruto are very excited because today was their birthday, October 10. But that wasn't all the reason that they were excited, because today was the day that they will get training from their parents. The evening came and there was a huge party for the heroes of the village. Everyone from shinobi to civilians all were celebrating. In these celebrations nobody saw a sad boy sitting around the corner. The reason for the boy's sadness is that his parents said no to train him with his siblings, and everybody forgot that it is his birthday also. He was not upset because of other, no, it was because of his so-called parents. Every year it's the same. When his family goes out for dinner or other things, they never take his suggestions into considerations. Flashback end. Naruto was looking out of the window and saw them and glared at every one of them. As he left from outside of his room and walked into training field by the garden. When he got there, he saw his sisters attempting to try to climb the tree again. Good job Narumi, but next time just make sure that you focus more of your chakra and balance it onto the tree, said Minato. Okay dad, here I go, shouted Narumi, adding more chakra to her feet, running up the tree only to fall down again. Good job Narumi, you got a bit further than last time, Minato said, sounding happier. HMPH, I bet that I can get higher than you Narumi Dadabayo, shouted Naruto, making everyone laugh at their daughter-sister antics. Hey 2 cent, said a soft voice from Naruto, making the laughter die down. With you and Ka-san also train me now, Naruto said with a little hope in his voice. Minato's smile turned into a frown. Naruto, I'm sorry, but I cannot train you at the moment. You will have to wait until the academy so that they will train you. But 2-san, you could just at least send a clone to help me with the basics, said Naruto with tears coming to his eyes. Minato let out a frustrated sigh. Naruto, we have told you you will have to wait until we enroll you into the academy. But to Naruto, go to your room now, he said, raising his voice, losing his patience. As Naruto hair shadowed his eyes and with a yes sir he ran to his room, but not missing the snickering that came from both of his sisters, that made Naruto clench his teeth and gripped his fist tight until his knuckles turned white. Skip night time. Naruto was walking back from the kitchen after finishing his dinner, not even being acknowledged by his own family. Well, at least they didn't forget to feed me this time, Naruto mumbled as he walked to his room. Naruto entered his bedroom that only consisted of a bed and a shelf that hosted a single book. But this was no ordinary book. This was Naruto's first gift that Naruto has ever got from anyone. Flashback. The 5-year-old Naruto was sitting alone in his room while a party was going on downstairs. He was sitting there crying. He felt alone and empty. His parents wasn't even noticing him at all, it was like they hated him. But Naruto quickly shrugged those thoughts off and continued looking at the ceiling. He jumped up when he felt a presence enter the room and was slightly on guard. Who's there, Naruto called out frantically. Boo, said a female voice, yelled, making the blonde scream. Ha ha ha, you should have seen your face, Gaki, she said, laughing. Rin, Naruto yelled with a cute pout. What are you doing here? The party is downstairs, he said, pointing to the floor. I know, but it's also your birthday too, she said, ruffling his hair. Yeah. So it's not like they are looking for me anyway, Naruto said, sadly looking down. Here, she said, making Naruto look up. What is this? Naruto said, looking up. This is one of my favorite books that always liked since I grew up in the orphanage. Really, you're giving it to me, he said, smiling for the first time in a while. Thank you, he said repeatedly while hugging her tight with tears coming from his eyes. You're welcome, Gaki, take care, she said, sappeering, but not before kissing his cheek, making him turn bright red. The tale of the utterly gutsy ninja. Naruto said, opening the book and started reading. Flashback end. Naruto smiled and opened his book and started reading. He was brought out of his reading when his door slammed open to find his twin sisters glaring at him. Oh shit, Naruto thought as he hid the book behind his back, hoping that they didn't see it. Hey loser, what do you got there, said Naruto, smirking at him when she sees him tense up. And nothing, Naruto said, backing up into the corner of the wall. Well then we will just have to find out ourselves, Narumi said, rushing at him and knocked him over, grabbing the book out of his hand. Well, Narumi said, waving the book in his face. Give it back. Narumi, Naruto yelled, running at her, head butting her, making her stumble back. Narumi felt a warm liquid on her nose and whipped it off, only to see that it was her blood. You will pay for that, she said, activating her nine tails power, making her eyes go slit. She rushed at Naruto, punching him in the stomach, making him double over. What is going on here, yelled angry Kushina, followed behind a scared Minato. Well, Kas and me and Naruto were playing and Naruto came into our room while we weren't looking and stole a book off of our desk, she said, fake crying. Kushina and Minato gasped, then an angry look appeared on their face. Young man, is this true? Kushina said, her red hair flowing dangerously behind her. No, Kas and they are lying, they stole, but Naruto was cut off by a punch to the gut by Minato. Naruto, do you know what you've done? You could have seriously angered your sisters by making them use the Kyuubi power. What do you have to say for yourself, young man? Kushina said angrily. Nothing, Naruto said in a low tone. What, I couldn't hear you. I apologize for stealing your book, Naruto said in a monotone voice with his hair shadowing his eyes. Get to bed, Minato said with a disappointment look on his face. And with that they all left the room and closed the door, leaving him in a dark, cold room. But Naruto looked up as something strange happened. His normal blue azure eyes were gone. His new eyes were cold blue with blue fire around them and blue tears. Naruto looked up with pure and utter hatred. Maybe it's about time I leave this accursed village, he said, standing up and balling up his fist until blood drew from them both. To get stronger, Naruto said, getting in his bed and drifting off to sleep, not even recognizing what legendary power that he just showed. Scene change. Naruto woke up in a strange place. It was like he was in a cave. So you have finally come, chosen one. A deep and thunderous voice that came from Naruto says. Who are you? Naruto said, scared out of his wits. No need to fear me, human. My name is Ragnarok, the king of the mighty dragon race, said the figure appearing from nowhere by Naruto. How the hell can I not be scared? You're a huge ass dragon. Naruto yelled, making Ragnarok chuckle. Young one, do you know the power, you posse? What power? Naruto asked, confused to what the dragon was saying. I am saying that you have unlocked the power that hadn't been used or seen since the Sage of Six Paths, he said, making Naruto jaw drop. So why you're saying that I have a legendary power that was used by the person who created chakra, he asked, only to get a nod in return. Oh yeah, I am awesome, Naruto yelled, jumping around, making Ragnarok chuckle at his childlike behavior. So how do I learn this awesome power? This power cannot be learned alone, you will need guidance, Ragnarok said. Oh, Naruto said disappointingly. Well, my pa Minato and Kushina will not let me train with them, they are too busy training their precious children, Naruto said, speaking with disgust and anger. Who said that I was talking about those fools? Ragnarok said, making Naruto yet again confused. What do you mean, Ragnarok? Naruto asked, genuinely confused. Ragnarok smirks and then said. I will be the one to overlook your training, Naruto, Ragnarok said, making Naruto stun for a bit, and then tears welled up in his eyes. Thank you, sensei, please train me well, Naruto said, bowing. Ha, that is great. But now, he said, making Naruto halt. I will give you this dragon summoning contract. Now bite your finger enough to draw blood and go through these signs, he said, showing Naruto the hand signs. 5 minutes later, after Naruto finished learning the hand signs, Ragnarok gave his the summoning contract. Ragnarok, who is this, he said, pointing to the name on the scroll. This is my previous summoner Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the legendary sage of Six Path, he said, smirking at seeing Naruto jaw drop. So am I, Naruto said, but got cut off by Ragnarok. Yes, you are his true successor for the Nidaime Dragon Summoner. Oh hell yes, Naruto yelled, smiling. Now use you summoning that I taught you. Alright, Naruto said, biting his fingers and going through hand signs. Summoning jutsu, Naruto said, and summoned a huge dragon, but not bigger than Ragnarok. Hello young master, my name is Veldora, how many serve you, said Veldora. Okay first, said Naruto, gaining their attention. Please do not call me young master, my name is Naruto. And second, I do not wish for your kind to serve for me. But we could work as friends, he said with a bright smile, leaving them speechless and heart melted. So this was the prophecy that the old sage spoke of, in tear-string, Ragnarok thought, smelling so pure. But his eyes are shown that of how he has gone. He must have gone through a lot. Whoever shall made him feel like this, I will obliterate them and their whole village, Veldora thought, in the Namikaze estate. Minato. Shiaking what the hell was that, Minato said, actually scared for some reason. Kushina. Minato honey, are you okay, she said, worried. Minato. Why yeah, I'm fine, paperwork. The cage's worst enemy. You bastard, you're wishing for my death. Huh, well, it's not gonna happen, Minato said, looking out the window at the Hokage tower. Hokage tower. Complete silence. Back with Naruto. Okay, I accept, let's be friends, Veldora said, tickling Naruto on his stomach with his tail, making Naruto laugh. Hahaha, stop that tickles, Naruto said. Well then, Naruto, we will meet again, he said, and with that he poofed away. Listen here, Naruto, we will leave this village tonight on your birthday, is that alright? Naruto looked down because he won't be able to see Hiruzen Tuchi and Rin for a while. Yes, it is alright, but will I be able to see you again? Of course, Naruto, just use those hand signs in reverse and you will be at our main land. And with a nod, Naruto turned around and faded from the mindscape. He is so much like you, Hagoromo, it's incredible, he thought. Scene change. Naruto opened his eyes to see that he was back inside his normal room again. Well, Naruto said as he looked at the calendar to see that today was October 10. Tonight is the night that Naruto Uzumaki Namek Senju to forge his own destiny. Chapter 2. Departure. Scene change. Morning time. Naruto was taking his last stroll around the village, not even being recognized by the villagers. But he did get a few good looks from the older and younger women around the area. But there were at least a few people who recognized him. But that was good because tonight he would be able to get out of Konoha easier. But there was one more thing that he needed to do before leaving. He still needed to visit the ones that he hold dear. His only precious people. Time skip. Ramen stand. Naruto, my boy, how have you been, said an old man behind the counter who gave Naruto a warm smile. Hello Tuchi Jiji, said Naruto to the man now known as Tuchi. Look at see who has come to give us a visit, he said, smirking, knowing how much his daughter fancies towards our young blonde. Naruto, a 13-year-old girl known as yelled, running from back of the kitchen and giving Naruto a tight hug. Why haven't you been coming to the ramen shop lately, she said, pouting a little. Gamensai, he said, rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. With his famous grin making cheeks turn red. How does he always do that, she thought. Hey Chan, are you okay? Your face is red, he said, putting his forehead to hers, making her blush harder. Tuchi just chuckled at this display. Okay Naruto, what would you like to order today? Tuchi said. Well, I will be gone for a while, so it's better if I could pig out while I'm still in the village, Naruto thought. Alright old man, 21 bowls of miso ramen, I am beating my record whether my body likes it or not, declared Naruto, unknowingly drawing more attention to the ramen stand. Okay, coming right up, Tuchi said, tying his apron tight and putting on his headband. Time skip. 30 minutes later, there were cheers all around one area. That area was none other than the ramen shop. Go 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 go, people shouted as they watched a little boy no older than 7 years old eat more bowls than Akimichi and is on his last dish. After Naruto finished his last bowl, he slammed it on the table, making the crowd go wild with cheering, while Tuchi was behind the counter with a proud shit-eating grin. This kid sure is something, he brought me in more customers, Tuchi thought, with a big sack of ryu with a money bag in his arms. As the crowd dispersed, Naruto hopped out of his seat and went to the front counter to pay Tuchi, but before he could reach in his pocket to pay Tuchi. But a hand stopped in front of his face. Naruto, my boy, no need, this is on the house, Tuchi says. But there's no need, Naruto, think of this as a birthday gift, he said with a chuckle. Thank you, Naruto said with a happy smile, but deep down he was very sad that he won't be able to see them for a couple of years. As Naruto ran up to Tuchi and then gave them both a bone-crushing hug. Naruto then released them and gave one more thank you as he turned away and walked off. Tuchi felt something was off. But he just shrugged those thoughts off and headed to the back of the shop. Scene change. Knock, knock, as an old man opened the door to see his favorite mop of blonde hair. Hey Ajiji, Naruto said, jumping onto his surrogate grandfather. Unlike a certain pervert. But back to the story. Ah yes, I've been meaning to give you this, Naruto-kun, said Hiruzen as he handed Naruto a scroll. This scroll contains chakra control and See-Tho A rank jutsu. But please be careful, Naruto-kun, said Hiruzen as he was given a bone-crushing hug from Naruto. Thank you Jiji, Naruto said as he turned around and ran. With a sigh, Hiruzen turned around. Please be safe, Naruto-kun, he thought before he closed the door. Scene change. Apartment complex. Naruto knocked on Rin's door twice before he heard a voice. Coming, said a female voice that he knew all too well. The door opened to show Rin Nohara. Happy birthday, Naruto-kun, she said, wrapping him up in a big hug. Hey Rin-chan, he said with his famous smile, making her cheeks blush red. What the hell, she thought, but quickly shoved her blush down. Oh right, I almost forgot, she said reaching in her pouch and pulled out a scroll. Here you go, Naruto-kun, she said, handing him the scroll. What is this, Naruto asked curiously. These are weapons for you when you start the academy, she said with a grin. Naruto was ecstatic, but he just didn't show it out in public. But he did something that was unexpected to her. He put his hand to his ear and signaled for her to do the same thing, to which she didn't bend down to his height as he whispered into her ear. I love you, he said, kissing her on the cheek and disappearing in a poof of smoke. Rin's whole body was completely red. Oh my god, I think I fell in love with Naruto-kun, she thought as she went back into the apartment to think about the blonde. Time skip night time. Tonight was the celebration of the twins' birthday, not even knowing that they were missing a little blonde-haired kid. Pants check, said a voice. Shirts check, shoes check, new kunai pouch check, Gigi scroll check, Raymond check. The boy looked down and cowled find the last pouch filled with Raymond. Oh god damn it, yelled Naruto as he threw the pen down that he was writing with. Sigh, I forgot to pick up the Raymond. Well whatever. Oh yeah, almost forgot the letter. But Naruto began thinking that he should at least give them one more chance. As he climbed out of the window and hid his presence and looked through the Namika's estate living room where everyone was. Ting 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 as there was the sound of a spoon hitting a wine glass. Hello everyone, I am glad that you could be present to my kid's 7th birthday party. But without further ado, I would like to announce that Naruto will be the heir to the Uzumaki Namika's clan. As there were cheers and claps were going on everywhere around the compound. And my last child Narumi will be the heir to the Senju clan, Minato said, and again there were cheers and applauses going around the compound. Well, if you would look outside you could see angry. No, he wasn't even on that level of anger, he was absolutely fucking livid. Those, Naruto said in a whisper. Those bastards, he said, cursing internally, unknowingly unlocking the two Tomo Sharingan in each eye as he blurred away in great speed inside his room and grabbed his bag. But not before leaving a letter to the Hokage family. As Naruto went through reverse hand signs, he had a determined look in his eyes as it made him look even more fierce with his Sharingan activated. Mark my word. I will become the strongest ninja to ever walk this world, he said before disappearing with a poof. Time skip 1 year later. Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya and Tsunade was in the Hokage office going over the training of Naruto and Narumi train. But they were soon knocked out of their thoughts when they heard a knock on his door. You may enter, said Minato. And entered his door was no one other than the Sandaime Hokage Hiruzen. Minato, where is my grandson, Hiruzen said in a stern tone. Everyone looked at Hiruzen like he magically grew a second head. Sensei, WHT are you talking about? What grandson? Tsunade said. Your son Naruto, Hiruzen said, narrowing his eyes at Minato. Who is Naruto, they all thought. But after a couple of seconds everyone's eyes grew wide. Naruto, they all yelled in synchronism. Minato, where is our Naruto? I haven't seen him since, Kushina said, tearing up. I don't know, Minato said, slumping into his chair. Calm down everyone, Jiraiya said, he obviously is at the compound. Jiraiya. Grab onto me, Minato said as they all grabbed his shoulder. Disappeared in a yellow flash. As Narumi and Naruto was just walking inside the compound, they walked upstairs. Naruto remembered something. Hey Narumi, Naruto said, getting her attention. Wasn't someone here before, she said as she stood in front of a door. What do you mean, Naruto? Said Narumi. There was someone here in this room, she said, reaching the doorknob and twisting it open only to find a blank room. This room was nothing but fully white and plain. There was just a white bed with a plain sheet and a couple of D-rank straws on top. She then looked to see a 4-year-old picture of a boy who had the brightest smile, which made her blush a bit, but the pictures had 4 burned out marks in them. Hey Narumi, looks, he said, running to her sister. What is this, Naruto? Said Narumi. Look at this, Naruto said, making Narumi also blush at the little boy. Who is this, Narumi said, still blushing a bit. Whoa, he kinda looks like dad a bit if you would only remove the whiskers, they both said, confused to why some look so similar to their father. Hey Narumi, but she was cut off as a yellow flash appeared in the middle of the room. Narumi, Naruto, have you see your brother? Kushina and Minato said frantically. Narumi and Naruto looked confused at that statement. What do you mean, brother, dad? Narumi said, puzzled. Naruto then got a thought in her head. It couldn't be, could it? Naruto was psyched, which didn't go unnoticed by them. What do you mean, Naruto? Do you know where he is? Kushina said, scared mixed with panic. I don't know, but I found this in one of the rooms, she said, showing the picture to them. After analyzing the picture, Minato and Kushina was feeling the guilt. In a burst of speed, Minato ran up to Naruto's room and slammed open the door to see that it was just plain and looked like it hasn't been cleaned in a while. Minato around trying to find anything that he could. When he reached the drawer and opened it to see a note and flashed back to the living room. I found 2 papers in Naruto's drawer. Narumi was still confused. Who is Naruto? Narumi said, confused. Naruto's eyes widened. Dad, does that mean? Yes, she said solemnly. The boy in the picture is your elder brother Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. What came from the response of both twins? Wait, I think I remember now, said. She then remembered the incident of what happened about the book thing. As the guilt started to crawl into her heart. Minato, what does the papers say? Kushina said as she had a feeling in her stomach to just throw the papers away from what was inside. As they all gathered around as Minato read the note. It says, Dear Hokage family. If you don't remember me or do remember me, then I don't give a flying fuck, you could all burn in hell for all that I could care. But that is not the issue today. I am leaving this village for some time. Maybe even till 20 years. As there was gasps around the room, not just pulling your leg. But back to business, I am leaving this disgraceful family. And you of all Kushina should know how we Uzumakis do not turn back on family. Pathetic. Naruto wrote, but they could feel the venom in the word now. If you found this message in 20 days or less, then maybe I could forgive yo. Oh, who the hell are we kidding? I am sure that you found this in about 1 year after I left the village. Since I'm not a clan member of any family or clan, then I am legally disowned from all of the clans, so I am free to do as I wish. So I could leave the village as I am not in shinobi. Hey, your call, not mine. Also, as for my so-called grandparents, just tip over and turn to dust already. You're past your age already. Ha ha ha. Also, don't look for me, Becca. I have been gone since October 10. Oops. Sincerely, your mistake, Naruto. As Minato had a bit of tears going out of his eyes as he was on the ground trying to comfort his wife, while Tsunade and Jiraiya tried to comfort Naruto and Narumi. Minato, what do we do about Naruto? He is gone, she said, still crying. I don't know, Kushina. Sigh. Minato, wasn't there a second letter? Why, yeah, Minato said as he pulled it out and read it. It says that it's dedicated to Rin Nahara. Why would that be? Minato said, confused as he flashed away to the office. In Minato office, he ordered his Anbu to get Rin. After 5 minutes, Rin appeared in Minato office. Minato-sensei, I have something to ask you. Have you seen? But she was cut off as Minato told her to grab his shoulder. As she grabbed his shoulder, confused, they disappeared into the living room. What's going on? Rin asked. It's sniff Naruto, Kushina said through sobs. Rin eyes widened. Where is he? I haven't seen him since his last birthday. Rin yelled, scared for her favorite little blonde. He sigh. Read this, Minato said as he handed her the first paper. Rin read the paper and slumped to her knees as tears flowed freely out of her eyes. And Naruto, why? She whispered, still crying. She then turned to them all with an angry expression. Why, how could you all? She yelled as they looked down in shame. Sigh. Rin, there is a note for you, said Minato. She quickly read the letter and blushed a little before wiping her tears away. What does it say? Kushina said, seeing her mood does a full 380. It's between me and Naruto, she said coldly. They all were taken aback by hearing the coldness in her voice. She sighed and gave Minato the letter. Here, read it, she said. As Minato looked over the paper, he suddenly felt a bit of pride in his son. Damn it, what does it say? Gaki yelled Tsunade. With a sigh, Minato read it. It says, Chapter 3. A legend is born, Return of the Dragon Sage God. Dear Rin, I'm sorry that I had to leave so soon, but if you found this, that means that those people have just found these papers. Trust me, I will be back and more developed. If you catch my drift. Wink wink, remember that kiss and remember it well, because just imagine what will happen when I do it all over your body, down to every spot, in every single place until we get to the main course. I will have you begging and screaming my name in pure and utter ecstasy. Implore. Until we meet again, Rin. Sincerely, your only one and only Naruto. As everyone was blushing madly. Oh yeah, he's definitely my grandson, Jiraiya thought. Well, that caught me off guard, said a blushing Kushina. Where in the hell did that Gaki learn all of those exotic words, and from a 7-year-old? Of all people, said a blusung Tsunade. But everyone suddenly snapped out of their thoughts when a little spike of killing intent from Naruto and Narumi. Naruto and Narumi were intently glaring at Rin, who for some reason had a smirk on her face. What the hell are you smirking at? Aren't you too old for Naruto-kun? Sneered Naruto, who was glaring at Rin, surprising everyone except Narumi, who only nodded in agreement. Rin looked at her for a few seconds and responded back, but still with the same smirk. What, are you jealous or something? Are you mad that Naruto-kun isn't paying attention to a little girl like you? Said Rin, whose smirk got wider as she saw the twins' glare got more intense. Shut up, you old hag. I am sure Ani-chan will pick a younger girl over old hag any day, yelled Narumi, still glaring at Rin, who don't seem to be affected in the least at all. Oh really? Then where is your name on the paper? Then Rin said as she got in a thinking position. Oh, that's where it is. Nowhere, Rin said, laughing, making them both rush at Rin. But before they could get far, they was stopped by chakra chains from Kushina. That is enough, you two, G to your rooms now, yelled Kushina, with her red hair flowing dangerously behind her back. As they both clenched their fist and gritted their teeth before giving their mother a nod and walking upstairs to their room, but not before sending a glare to Rin. As the twins left, Rin turned back to the rest of the adults in the room. If that is all, may I leave, Hokage-sama? Rin said, looking away from Minato. Minato let out a heavy sigh before dismissing her. Yes, Rin, you are dismissed, he said, as she nodded and disappeared with a poof of smoke. Minato, Kushina said, still teary-eyed. Kushina, it is okay, I'm sure Naruto will still forgive us, but we had to train the childs of prodigy, he said, hugging the now crying Kushina, who just passed out in Minato arms from all of the crying. Father, Minato said with as Jiraiya turned to him. Wasp Gaki, Jiraiya said, looking at Minato. I will send out my best shinobi seer team, can you go with them please? I know that I haven't been the best father when it come to Naruto, but please just find him, Minato said, his voice breaking and tears slid from his eyes. Jiraiya only sighed and then smiled. Of course, I know that I haven't been able to spend time with my only grandson, but it was only necessary to help them to learn the power of the Kyuubi. Sigh. Yes, I understand, Father, Minato said, looking down. Jiraiya walked up to Minato and put a hand on his shoulder. Son, I'm sure that Naruto will come around. How about this, Jiraiya said as Minato looked up. When Naruto comes back to the village he will be the leader of the Uzumaki or Namikaze side branches. Are you sure, father? Yes, Jiraiya said. We will train him in the side branches lower to Jutsu and Ninjutsu styles so that he could assist Naruto and Narumi. Mother, father, I will see you later, Minato said as he disappeared in a yellow flash. He is just like he was as a kid, said Tsunade with a sad smile. Why is it Tsunaheim, said Jiraiya wrapping his arms around Tsunade. It's just Naruto, I haven't even talked to him since he was around 4 years old, she said as a guilty feeling started to open up in her stomach. Calm down, Tsunaheim, I'm sure that Naruto will understand, he is our grandson, you know, Jiraiya said, calming her down a bit. I truly hope so, she said, whispering. Hokage office, Anbu, Minato barked out. Hi, Lord Hokage. Send me my best Hyuga and Inyazuka trackers along with Itachi Uchiha, Obito Uchiha, and Kakashi Haddock. Hi, Lord Hokage, the Anbu said as they disappeared without a trace. 5 minutes later, in the Hokage office, Minato was sitting patiently in front of his ninja with a sad and self-hatred look on his face, but he still had his emotions in check. Yes, Lord Hokage, you called a teen who looked to be in his teens with silver gravity-defying hair with a dark blue face Vila mask, wearing a black sleeveless shirt with matching tall gloves and a white wrap on the left bicep, a red Anbu tattoo on the right shoulder, a grey flak jacket and matching gauntlets, dark blue pants with matching wraps over the shins, a white wrap over the right thigh and a pair of black open-toe shoes. Listen up, Minato said with his voice that demanded authority. I want you all to search for my son Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju, he said as they all looked confused. Lord Hokage, you only have 2 daughters, said one of the Anbu. That made Minato eyes widen, before they narrowed at the Anbu who started to get nervous and stepped back. Minato-sensei, he's right, you only have 2 daughters, said Kakashi. Damn it, I am such an idiot, Minato said, mentally cursing. Minato let out a soft sigh before looking up to them. I do have a son, he has unfortunately left the village some time ago, he said, looking down in shame. Obito and Kakashi stepped up and they seemed to be shaking. Minato, why you can't be serious, said Obito, as he was looking at his sensei with wide eyes. How did he even get through the gates? We have sensors, it's impossible for people to get in or out. That's why I'm assembling this team to find my son. Kakashi, you are in charge, Minato said as his eyes looked dull. Yes, Lord Hokage, Kakashi said as they all disappeared. As Minato got out of his chair and walked to the window. I'm sorry, Naruto, what all was Minato could say as a lone tear fell from his eye. Scene change, Dragon World. Goof. As the smoke cleared up, it showed a child who looks to be around 7 years old with blonde hair and the deepest azure blue eyes that could rival a sapphire. The child wore a plain white shirt with a Uzumaki symbol in the middle, forest green shinobi pants, with a pair of dark blue toe-open sandals. Ths child was no other than Naruto. Well, it seems that you have made it, Naruto, came a booming deep voice from the sky. Hey Ragnarok, down here, Heyy, yelled Naruto, waving with his hands in the air. As Ragnarok landed he noticed a huge grin on Naruto's face. Naruto, what seems to have you in a good mood, asked a curious Ragnarok. Oh, it's nothing, it's just a little promise that I made to someone, Naruto said, grinning ear from ear. Oh, and would this promise just so happens to be from one of your mates, Ragnarok said with a sly smirk, making Naruto blush a little. Shut up, Euro Dragon, Naruto yelled, making Ragnarok burst out laughing. Alright, little cub, hop on my back, he said, picking up Naruto and setting him on his back. Are you ready, Ragnarok said as Naruto gave a quick nod. And with that they were off. Dear 8-year-old Naruto. Naruto was working on increasing his chakra control because at the level he was at now, he could only summon a low-level dragon without getting worn out. At this level Naruto only had the chakra pool of a low Chunin. Naruto found out what affinity that he had and was shocked to see that he had extremely potent affinity for all chakra natures. To say that he was superst would be an understatement, he was absolutely ecstatic. First his wind element split in 4 parts and sliced the paper into 1,000 tiny pieces, his fire element engulfed the whole paper in a blue flame and burned it to cinders, his water element drenched the whole paper until it was so wet that it just ripped apart, his earth element turned into dust and blew away. His lightning element looked to be the strongest as it had lightning crackling around it and crumbled up. Dear 9-year-old Naruto. Ragnarok has increased Naruto training by tenfold. He has worked on his Dragon Taijutsu, Ninjutsu, and Jinjutsu. When Naruto was training so hard that he activated his Sharingan on accident. Naruto was shocked to see that he had the Sharingan and he wasn't even an Uchiha, but Ragnarok told him that he was the reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths, which did not calm him down but made him more determined to protect his precious people. Dear 10-year-old Naruto. Naruto was roaming the dragon world until he heard a strange sound inside his head as it led him to a large glassy cave with multiple ice shards. Naruto didn't know what was happening, but he followed the sound. After the 30 minutes he found a huge broadsword that was a couple of inches taller than him. The sword stood about 5'4", while Naruto stood at 5'1". Naruto attempted to lift the sword, but only barely, so he dragged it out until he reached Ragnarok. Ragnarok then told him that the name of the sword was called the Buster Sword. It was an ancient sword that was used by the legendary Cloud Strife who defeated Sephiroth and avenged Aerith. As Naruto had an idea and picked up the blade and called out to it, "Buster Sword, come to me," as the sword slowly lifted up off of the ground and slowly made its way to Naruto. As soon as the sword reached Naruto's hand, it started to glow in a blue source of power. Naruto then let out a scream as the sword carved a tattoo onto Naruto's arm, making a black dragon. When Naruto picked up the sword, it felt light as a feather. As he felt the power that was running through his veins. Dear 4-11-year-old Naruto. As Naruto started to practice more Kenjutsu styles. Right now he was at the level of a Kenjutsu master. He was combat training with Veldora, who both were going all out until Naruto finally beat him. The dragons had taken a liking to Naruto because not only did he treat them with respect, he oftenly helped them with hunting most of the time. His chakra level was at the level of a mid-kage, his taijutsu was the level of low kage, his genjutsu level was at high jonin, his kenjutsu was at low kage. Dear 5-12-year-old Naruto. Naruto has taken up Dragon Sage mode and mastering the Sharingan, making it evolve into the Eternal Mangekyo, with only hard and physical training that would make a regular person go insane. He also started to study up on the shinobi villages and history of the shinobi world. He masters over 700 different jutsus from C rank to S rank. Naruto has been working on his Mokuton and fusing more chakra natures into making more bloodlines. Naruto has a total of 3 Kekkei Genkai. 1. Naruto has his great-grandfather's bloodline, the Mokuton, by mixing 2 of his strong elemental earth and water. 2. Naruto has unlocked his final stage of the Sharingan, the Eternal Mangekyo. He is able to summon a giant blue Susanoo. He is able to use powerful Tsukiyomi with no drawbacks, Kamui and Amaterasu. 3. Naruto has created his own bloodline called Storm Release. By mixing his wind, water and lightning, he can even bend the weather itself. 4. Naruto has the Hyoten, which allows him to use the Ice Release Kekkei Genkai. Last year 13-year-old Naruto had taken up the last name of Strife. He looks like his exact copy of his hero Cloud Strife. Naruto was now standing at the height of 5'9". His hair has gotten longer over the past years. He had no baby fat on his face, making his face look more angular and handsome. Naruto has developed in many areas and is looking to fulfill a certain promise to a certain woman. Naruto has also started reading up on the human body. Especially the female body, even though he hated the bastard, he always kept an Icky Paradise book on him. Naruto wears a high-collar sleeveless Adigo shirt, black pants and boots, and has a shoulder-left pauldron. "Well, I guess that this is goodbye for now, my son," Ragnarok said with a prideful smile. "Yes father, I will see you again," Naruto said with a sad smile. "Don't be too sad, cub, you could always come back here again," said Ragnarok. As every single dragon came to see Naruto's departure. "Goodbye everyone, I will be sure to visit again," yelled Naruto as he went through hand signs, and with a poof he was gone. "I am gonna miss the cub," said Veldora, shedding a few tears, making Ragnarok sweat drop. But Naruto, in the village hidden in the leaves, word had got out of the first son of the 4th Hokage leaving the village, and the civilians and shinobi too feel ashamed that they didn't even recognize the similarities the boy had with their own hero child. But none of them were hit harder than the Hokage family. Kushina was an absolute wreck. She was crying non-stop. As Narumi and Naruto got more older, they started to feel more guilty about the loss of their brother, remembering that they would blame him when they would break things, so they had the determination to bring him back at all cost. Minato was in the same boat as Kushina, but he had to maintain his title as Hokage, but on the inside he was truly torn. Naruto was walking through the forest of Konoha, getting closer to the village. While he was walking, he was thinking of all of the things that happened to him. He was beaten by his family, ignored and neglected. He then thought about the meeting of dragons and how much strength he gained from his childhood. "Watch me father, because I would be born as a legend. I'm Skip Konoha." Naruto, still in his cloak, was walking closer to the gate until 4 Anbu came down surrounding him. "Who are you and what are you doing in our village?" came a voice from one of the Anbu. "My apologies," said Naruto in a deep voice. "I only wish to speak to your Hokage," Naruto said in a calm tone. As the 4 Anbu looked at each other for a few seconds and then looked back to Naruto. "Drop your weapons," the Anbu said to Naruto. "This might be a little too heavy for you." Naruto, still looking at the Anbu. The Anbu only scoffed and grabbed Naruto's sword but couldn't get it off the ground as the rest tried and failed. I told you," Naruto said in an amused tone. The Anbu finally gave up and walked up to Naruto, surrendering him. As the Rat Anbu nodded to the Falcon Anbu before he vanished in a shunshin. "So what happens now?" Naruto said as the Monkey Anbu walked up to Naruto, trying to remove his cloak. But Naruto jumped back before the Anbu could touch him. As the Anbu tried to charge Naruto again, but Naruto stuck his foot out and tripping the Anbu up, making him fall flat on his face. Whoa, hold your horses," Naruto said, snickering, pissing off the Monarchy Anbu who was about to charge, but suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder. As the Rat Anbu turned to Naruto and spoke up. "The Hokage will see to you now," he said, putting a hand on Naruto's shoulder, who just shrugged. Naruto turned to the rest of the three Anbu and gave a two-finger salute. "Jaw northeast," Naruto said, as him and the Anbu vanished, leaving a fuming Anbu, while the others were giggling behind their mask. Hokage office. In the Hokage office was Minato, Kushina, Sarutobi, Jiraiya and Tsunade. "Minato, did you feel that?" Jiraiya said, looking at his son. "Yes, Dad, there is a strong presence that has entered into Konoha even though that it is a far distance away." "Wait, Dad, do you think that it could be the Akatsuki?" Minato said, frantically fearing for his daughters. "No," Jiraiya said. "They should not be on the move for about another 3 years." Minato let out a thankful sigh. "Father, I think that it is time for them to up their training, don't you think?" Minato said, looking at them. "Are you sure?" Minato said. Kushina. Minato only smiled and nodded in agreement. "Yes," I said Minato, but he was cut off as a Anbu and cloaked stranger shunshined inside the room. "Lord Hokage, this stranger wishes to speak to you," as everyone in the room was looking towards the hidden Naruto. "Yes, THT is fine," Minato said, eyeing Naruto curiously. As the Anbu nodded and vanished in a shunshin. "So who are you?" Minato said, reaching for a kunai that was under his desk. "Oh right, the cloak," Naruto said as he grabbed the cloak and ripped it off of his body, making them go on their guard, but to the shock of everyone when the cloak came down, it revealed the neglected son of the fourth Hokage. Naruto, Chapter 4. Genin exams. Naruto. They all shouted as they stared at the young young man in front of them. Kushina and Tsunade couldn't help but feel themselves blush at their grandson. Naruto was a perfect replica of Minato, only just more handsome. His whiskers has faded over time, but they were still there, but so thin that you hardly see them. His face and eyes was more sharp from all of the training and losing all of the baby fat, giving him a more angular, wild and handsome look. Naruto was dressed in an open black-red trench coat with high-collar sleeveless black shirt, which showed of his rock-hard 8-pack. His body wasn't too muscular or too skinny, it was very defined and very lean. He also wore black shinobi pants and black ninja boots. He currently stood at the height of 5'9", with his blonde hair flowing, giving it a silky but spiky look. But the most noticeable thing that was with Naruto was the giant sword that was on his back. "And Naruto, is that really you?" Minato asked, his eyes wide. Naruto only looked at him for a few seconds and responded in his normal coolie voice. "Yeah, Lord Hokage," Naruto said, inwardly enjoying his father flinching at the way he called him. "Naru-chan," Kushina yelled out, rushing out and enveloping into a hug. "Naruto," Kushina said, hugging him, which made everyone smile at the scene, but Naruto was the first to speak up. "This is Uzumaki," said Naruto, as everyone's attention turned to Naruto. "I would very much appreciate it if you would kindly unhand me," said Naruto, who wasn't even looking at the teary-eyed redhead. But Naru-chan, it's been so long since we have even talked," Kushina said as her tears were freely flowing down from her eyes. Naruto resisted the urge to facepalm as he just stared at the crying red-haired woman. Naruto turned to Kushina and spoke. "And whose fault is that?" Naruto said, looking at everyone in the room with his cold, unwavering gaze. As the guilt started to flood in the hearts for everyone, they only looked down in shame. He was right, they did absolutely nothing for him. Hell, they couldn't even remember the last time they celebrated his birthday. Minato only sighed as he turned to his eldest son. "Naruto, you do know that we have questions, right?" he said, speaking in a soft tone. Naruto looked at Minato for a while and shrugged. "Just don't take too long, sorta have to meet someone," Naruto said with a smirk that didn't went unnoticed by them. "Wait, is he talking about Rin? There's nowhere right?" Minato thought as his eyes went wide. Kushina noticed a smirk on his face as she got angry. "What the hell does this little whore think she is trying to take my baby boy?" Kushina thought as her hair started to flow like the 9 tails, which made Naruto sweat drop and everyone else back away. Cough as Naruto got their attention back. "So what questions do you all have first?" Minato decided to speak up first and clear the elephant from the room. "Naruto, where have you been for the last couple of years?" As everyone stared at Naruto waiting for an answer, to which Naruto only shrugged. "I've been all around the elemental nations training," Naruto said as their eyes went wide. "I mean, hey, it wasn't every day you see a 7-year traveling around the elemental nations." "So you mean that you have been traveling around the elemental nations since they were 7? "Yup," Naruto said nonchalantly as they stared at him in shock. Jiraiya walked up to him in shock. But how I have my spy network everywhere." Naruto only got into a thinking pause. I guess they weren't good enough," he said with his normal cool voice, hitting a blow to Jiraiya pride. "Also, Lord Hokage," Naruto said, inwardly laughing his ass off seeing Minato flinch at the name he just called him. "I would like to know, are there any available houses in the area?" Naruto said as they all stared at him like he grew a second head. But Naruto, you already have a home with us," Minato said with desperation in his voice, not wanting his son to be away from him any longer. Naruto only looked at him with hidden amusement. "I'm sorry, Lord Hokage, but I'm not your son anymore. If you already know the rules of Konoha, then any non-clansmen that are not a part of the clan are not to live with them," Naruto said as they looked at him like he's lost it. "Naruto, what are you talking about? You are my son, and you are a part of the Uzumaki Namikaze and Senju clan," Minato said, standing up from his desk as the rest of them nodded. Naruto let out an audible sigh and gave them a look that said, do I really have to explain, as Naruto looked at Minato for a few seconds and then spoke. Lord Hokage, what do you know about Article 15 Number 7 made by Tobirama Senju in Konoha clan rules, Naruto said as they all got in a thinking position but couldn't find anything. I don't really know, I haven't read the clan's rules since I got my first position as the Hokage, Minato said, feeling a little embarrassed, but something in the back of his head told him that he didn't want to find out. Sai, two questions, listen up, Naruto said as they all paid attention to him, but on the inside Naruto was dancing like he threw the biggest party ever. Question 1. Who is the oldest child in the Uzumaki Nami is Senju clan? That's easy, you're Naruto-kun, Kushina said, inwardly praising herself. Right, Naruto sarcastically responded, rolling his eyes. Question 2. Okay, who is the known clan heirs to the Namikaze Uzumaki Senju, Naruto said as Jiraiya stepped up a bit proud. Well, that's a easy one, Naruto, Jiraiya said, puffing his chest out. The clan heir of the great Namikaze Uzumaki is Naruko, and the heir of the great Senju clan is Narumi, who are the students of the Yellow Flash, Red Death, and taught by two of the great sennins. The queen of all slugged Tsunade and the great toad sage, Jiraiya said arrogantly. Very good, now do you want a cookie, Naruto said with his eyes closed, clapping sarcastically. Now if you would put 2 and 2 together, that makes up the clan rule, what do you have? They once again got into the thinking position. Tsunade started to think back to her Grand Unli rules that he showed her grandfather. As Tsunade and Hiruzen eyes went wide as they remembered the clan heir rule that her granduncles made about the clan of Konoha. And no, you can't mean that rule, Tsunade yelled out as everyone started to look at her in confusion. Minato, you didn't, Hiruzen said as he looked at his successor. So you figured it out, Tsunade, would you kindly let them know what you're talking about, Naruto said with a eye smile. Tsunade looked over to Minato and Kushina, then looked back to the floor, knowing that they both will be crushed when they finds out. Mother, what is Naruto talking about? And what rule? Minato asked. Kushina looked at Kushina, then to Minato, as she let out a heavy sigh she then began to speak. What Naruto is saying is that he has been disowned from all of the Uzumaki Namikaze Senju clans. That means he holds no relation to either of you, no father, no mother, no grandfather, and no grandmother, she said somberly, looking away from their shocked and horrified faces. Hiruzen, is this correct? Minato stuttering out, looking to Hiruzen with an expression that begged him to tell him that is not true. Sai, Minato, what she has said is correct, Naruto currently is a non-member of either of the clans, he said, as everyone had different expressions. Kushina was openly crying, Minato had a look of horror on his face, Tsunade had a ashamed look on her face, and Jiraiya had gotten an idea. Naruto, Jiraiya said as they all turned to him. What is it? Old pervert, Naruto said, looking at the sage. Jiraiya, ignoring the comment, spoke up. How would you like to be the leader of the Uzumaki or Namikaze side branch, Jiraiya said with a large smile. Naruto looked at him strangely as he continued. You would be taught by us in low to mid-level jutsu, taijutsu and low-level medical jutsu to help support Naruko and Narumi, Jiraiya said as they all thought about it and smiled. Well, except Naruto and Hiruzen, who wouldn't want to train with the strongest people in Konoha, as they nodded. Naruto only did something that made them shocked. He laughed. Very hard, much to the amusement of Hiruzen, who was failing to keep his giggles back. Ha 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 ha, laughed Naruto, who was on the floor, his hand barely supporting him as he tried to stand up. You think pant, good joke, and here I was just thinking you were just a pervert, but you got some jokes too. Seriously, if you think that I would be their slaves like the Hyuga branch members, then forget it. No, not like the Hyuga, Naruto, you would support them in helping them because they both are the childs of prophecy, exclaimed Jiraiya with a frown. Oh then hell no. I don't want anything to do with all of you, why of all times now when you had the chances to do it when I was still a child, Naruto said, making the guilt even worse as Naruto turned back to the Hokage. So many new houses open, Naruto said nonchalantly as Hiruzen had a sweat drop. Really, Naruto, look at the situation you just made. Some of the strongest people in the world either cry or looked ashamed of all times. Why now? Thought Hiruzen. Minato looked to Naruto with a sad smile as he went through a few papers, but he thought of something and inwardly had a large smile. I'm sorry, Naruto, but there are no available houses in the district now, Minato said, inwardly smiling, but on the outside, he had a plain expression. Sigh, damn it, why the hell does it feel like I'm being played right now? Naruto thought. As Minato began to speak again. But we do have extra rooms in the Uzumaki Namikaze Senju compound. That might not be a good option, Lord Hokage. I am an outsider of your clan. There is no way that I could impose myself on you and your family, Naruto said with a forced smile. Damn it all. No need, Naruto, we will be happy to have a guest of our own, Minato said with a smile of his own. Sigh, fine. But if you read the letter of what I said, then I would like to be a chunin, Naruto said as they looked at him strangely for a moment. Sigh, I'm sorry, Naruto, but as Hokage I can't show favoritism, Minato said, hoping to keep his son a bit longer. Naruto only shrugged. Then put me with this class graduation, aren't they doing the exam today, Naruto said. Sorry Naruto, I don't think that I can help you with this problem either, but I can enroll you for next year, classes, Minato said inside smirking. Well then. Naruto said with a smirk of his own, as everyone's head turned to Naruto. If you do me a favor then I could show you the secret to solve your paperwork problem, Naruto said with a smirk as Minato and Hiruzen eyes widened. In a blur of speed Minato and Hiruzen was on the ground in front of groveling as they both looked you to Naruto. But Minato started, as Hiruzen said. Minato said. Secret shouted Hiruzen and Minato comically. Naruto said playfully. Me first Naruto said as in a flash Minato appeared to his desk and quickly wrote something down and flashed back to Naruto. Here, take this down to the academy and give this to Iruka in room 221. Now please for the love of Kami God tell us the secret, Minato said shouted. Naruto shrugged and put his two fingers in a plus sign and disappeared in a poof of smoke, leaving a wide-eyed room. So that's the secret, Shadow clones, Tsunade said in disbelief as she looked over to see her former sensei and son sitting there with a blank expression. Until Minato suddenly took out one of his flying thunder god kunai, while Hiruzen took out a harakiri, as Minato looked at each other with a nod before they tried to commit seppuku together. As everyone in the room eyes went wide as Kushina and Samanbu rushed to Minato and tried to get the kunai out of his hands, while Jiraiya and Tsunade rushed to Hiruzen and tried to do the same thing with Hiruzen. Oh, I need to do this, Minato and Hiruzen yelled out comically in unison. Time skip academy. Okay, now where is room 221, Naruto thought as he made his way down the hall inside the academy. Ah, here it is, Naruto said as he made his way inside. Alright class I, but he was cut off as someone with a black cloak came inside the classroom. The black cloak figure looked at the teacher. You are Iruka Yamino, right, said the cloaked figure. The teacher, now known as Iruka, looked at the person in the black cloak and responded. Why yes I am, and you are, he said looking to the cloaked figure. This is from the Hokage, the figure said, handing Iruka the note. As Iruka read the note his eyes went wide. The firstborn of Hokage, I thought he left the village, Iruka thought. Iruka just shook those thoughts off and smiled as he turned back to the class, who were looking and mumbling about the black cloak figure. Would you like to introduce yourself, Iruka said, seeing the figure shrug as he stepped up. As he saw all eyes on him he smirked about seeing the two girls' eyes on him. To everyone's surprise the cloak disappeared with a bright white flash. After 5 seconds the light went down as everyone had to rub their eyes and turned back to the figure who wasn't wearing his cloak anymore. Every girl in the room had a massive blush on their face as some even had nosebleeds and fainted. The boys looked at Naruto in envy, especially a boy with red marks on his face and a white dog on his head. Your name is Naruto Strife, it's a pleasure to meet you all, Naruto said with a small smile that made every girl blush again. I'm not going over how he dressed again, it's at the top because I'm too lazy. Ani-chan, two red-head girls shouted in unison, making everyone look at them both in confusion. Waity is your brother, asked Hinata still with a blush on her face. As everyone turned back to Naruto who just had his hands in his pockets. Yamino-san, may I take my seat now? Naruto said as Iruka nodded, still a bit surprised. You can have a seat in the back, but he again was cut off by a student. Hey Iruka-sensei, why does he only get to take the exam? Why we had to be stuck here listening to your lame lessons, Kiba shouted. Because Kibbles, I was out of the village and is strong enough to be a chunin or higher, Naruto said, earning a round of laughter from the students. What did you say to me, Dobe, shouted Kiba. Calm down, Mother, I will put you on a leash, Naruto said, earning more rounds of laughter and a growl from Kiba. Okay class, settle down now, go to your seat, Iruka said as Naruto only nodded and headed to the back. As Iruka went over his last speech, Naruto just continued to look out of the window but saw every girl in the room glance at him every 5 seconds. Time skip outside because author is lazy. Okay everyone, shouted Iruka, today we will be doing the taijutsu portion. When I call your name you are to do hand-to-hand combat until the opponent is either knocked out the ring or if your opponent admit defeat. Match 1. Shikamaru vs Kayukuchi. Are you both ready, Iruka said. Kai only gave a nod. Troublesome, Shikamaru said as he entered the circle. Begin, Iruka said as Kai rushed to Shikamaru and threw a punch to which he dodged. Kai turned around and lashed out another punch to Shikamaru who only sidestepped him and went through hand signs. Shadow imitation technique, Shikamaru called out, catching Kai inside it. As Shikamaru slowly backed up, Kai did the same until he was out of the circle. Winner Shikamaru Nara as clapping could be heard. Of clan heads. Shikaku, your kid is pretty smart, said Chauza who was patting Shikaku on the back. Yeah, but only if he had a bit more motivation, Shikaku said with a smile. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, my little brat is too overconfident in himself, Tsume said. Yeah, the same with Satsuki, she got the uchiha arrogance, Mikoto said looking at her daughter. Same with my nephew, ever since his Ashi died he has been preaching about fate non-stop, said Hiashi. Kids, they all thought in unison. Hey, wasn't Minato supposed to be here, said Inoichi. And in a yellow flash, Minato, Hiruzen, Kushina, Jiraiya and Tsunade appeared. Oh, speak of the devil, where have you been, Minato? Inoichi said. Minato looked at him and smiled. He has returned, Minato said, but they were all confused. "Who are you talking about, Minato?" said Shikaku with curiosity in his voice. Minato just kept quiet and told him to watch. "Kushina, did something happen?" Mikoto said. Kushina just looked at her friend with a small smile. "It will soon," she said as she turned back around to the matches. "Who are they talking about?" the clan heads thought. "Back with the fights. I'm just skip it to the important parts. Match 8, Narumi vs Akiko Nate. Are you both ready?" Iruka said, to which they both nodded. "Begin," he called out. Akiko rushed to Narumi and threw a punch, to which Narumi ducked over and threw a punch back to Akiko, which connected and threw her back a bit. Akiko threw a left hook to Narumi, who blocked it and punched her in the gut, sending her out of the circle. Winner Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. As the crowd started cheering, but she was trying to find Naruto, who wasn't in sight. Where did Oni-chan go? Her in apartment. Naruto's POV. Oh my god, and Naruto Rin moaned out, "Oh yes, fuck me, just like that baby." "Aren, you're so tight," moaned Naruto. My thrust began to get faster as time went by. She wrapped her legs around me tight, making sure I stay inside her. The more I thrust, the warmer it felt inside her. When I look at her face, she looked so boastful that I just want to pleasure her more. "I am so close," Rin cried out. "Me too, ah." About 3 or 4 more strokes, we released our climax together and fell on the bed. Both of us panting hardly. I looked over to see that she had passed out with a blinding smile on her face that made my heart skip a beat. "Even when she's sleeping she has a boastful face," Naruto said quietly as he got up and put his clothes back on and left a note to her. "Good thing she used a birth control jutsu or I would have been in big trouble," Naruto thought as he made his way back to the academy. Academy rooftop. Naruto met up with his shadow clone, who gave him a perverted smile and a fist bump before he disappeared in a poof of smoke. As Naruto sighed and began to hear the next person going up. Match 9, Naruto vs Miya Yukihis. "Are you both ready?" Iruka said as they both nodded. "Begin," Iruka called. As Miya rushed towards Naruto, who dodged effortlessly. "Take this," Miya yelled as she tried to hit Naruto with her fist, who dodged and hit her in the chest, to which she stumbled back. Naruto moved with incredible speed from her spot and side-kicked Miya, sending her soaring outside of the ring. Winner Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Senju. Once again there was cheering and applause going around the area, but Naruto, just like Narumi, was looking for her Oni-chan. Match 10, Kiba Inuyasha vs Naruto Strife. As there were murmurs going around about who is Naruto Strife. But not with the clan heads. But the clan heads, as their eyes went wide. "Minato, isn't Naruto your son who left the village?" shouted Inoichi, surprised. "Yes, he has finally come back," Minato said with a sad smile. "Kushina, where is Naruto?" Mikoto asked. "I don't know, he should have been here," wisered back Kushina. "Well, wherever he is, I bet he can't beat my son," Tsume said with a grin. "Oh, and would you want to make a bet then?" Kushina said, a little amused. "Fine then, 3,000 Ryu," Tsume said with a grin. "I put 3,000 on Kiba," said Hiashi. "I want in too," said Inoichi, said 3,000 on Kiba. "Count me in then," said Chaoza. 3,000 on Kiba. "I will put 3,000 on Kiba," Shibi said. I guess I'll put 3,000 on Naruto," Mikoto said. "Troublesome, but I'll put 3,000 on Naruto," said Shikaku. "I don't know what Naruto can do, so I'll put 3,000 on Kiba," said Jiraiya. "Sai, I know I should be cheering for Naruto, but I'll be putting 3,000 on Kiba," said Tsunade. "I will put 3,000 on Naruto," Minato said. "I will put 4,000 on Naruto-kun," said Hiruzen. "I will put 14,000 on young Naruto," said a cloaked figure as everyone turned around to see a black cloaked man. As he only laid the 14,000 down and disappeared. Who the hell was that?" said Chaoza shouted. Naruto Strife as they turned back to the match. "Call the match, Iruka-sensei, he probably ran away," Kiba said with a big smirk. "Oh, I know, he shut the hell up, Kibbles, and you better be ready," a voice said as everyone turned to see Naruto walking fro behind the tree. As the women there couldn't help but get a massive blush on their face and a bit of drool that came from their mouth. As Naruto made his way to the circle, the clan heads tried to change the bet, but it was too late. "Are you both ready?" Iruka asked, as they both nodded. "Begin," Iruka called out. "Sit this one out, Akamaru, this won't take 10 seconds, Kiba said, putting down Akamaru, but Naruto spoke up. "Just like you in the bed, isn't that right, Kibbles?" Naruto said as everyone burst out laughing, even Kiba mom. Kiba went red-faced in anger as he stepped forward to Naruto, but something smelled off about him. It smelled like as Kiba eyes went wide as he blushed and jumped back. Why you?" he said, pointing to Naruto, as everyone's attention was on them. Why do you smell like sex?" Kiba shouted as everyone's jaw dropped and looked to Naruto, who wasn't even fazed. Naruto only shrugged and responded plain and simple. "I had sex," Naruto said like it was normal, as all the girls had massive blushes on their face, but the guys just had more respect for the kid every passing moment. When, where, and how?" Kiba shouted, mixed with jealousy and respect for Naruto. "Now that's a story for another day," Naruto said with a foxy smile, making all of the women there get a bit wet down there. "Let's just fight," Naruto said. As Kiba rushed towards and threw a volley of punches, but Naruto just stood there blocking every attack. Kiba went for a sweep kick, but Naruto saw this coming in slow motion and merely stepped back. They continued for about a minute until Kiba got pissed and started yelling. Stop dodging my attacks and fight back, Kiba said, losing his patience. Naruto stared at him for a few seconds before he got into a fighting position and reached in his kunai pouch. As Kiba's expression changed from angry to a smirk. So you're finally taking me serious, loser. What Naruto pulled out next shocked everyone to their very core and much to the horror of Jiraiya. It was Icha Paradise 3. Kiba only saw red as he burst from his position and tried to attack Naruto over and over, who was dodging and not even looking. As Ivan tried to stifle their laughter, but it didn't work as everyone bursted out laughing. What more surprised them that Tsume was howling in laughter. As Naruto closed his book, he saw Kiba panting and glaring at him. "Oh, Kibbles is angry here," Naruto said as he pulled out a dog treat as the laughter got even louder until everyone was on the floor clutching their side. Even the clan's stoic clan head Shibi and Hiashi were wheezing on the ground with so much laughter. "Alright," Naruto said, chuckling. "I think that we are done here," Naruto said as he disappeared from everyone's side as the clan heads Jonin's and Chunin's eyes went wide at the pure speed. "Call the match," Naruto said as everyone looked over to see Kiba slumped over Naruto's shoulders, knocked out. Winner, Naruto strife, Iruka said in shock. As Naruto handed Kiba to Iruka and walked back to the tree that he was laying under. We will begin the next portion in 10 minutes, said Iruka as he shunshined with Kiba to the hospital. As Naruto felt eyes were on him with lust, sadness, proudness. And a male crush from a one-eyed pervert. What the hell? Naruto thought as Naruto opened his eyes once again and looked over to the clan head before appearing in front of them all. Naruto looked at them all as he was getting some curious looks from the male shinobi and some lust from the female side, but he shook those thoughts off and reached his hand out. "Where's my half?" Naruto said as they looked at him strangely, as Shikaku would say it, troublesome, some said Shibi as he handed Naruto 1000 Ryu. "Hey Shibi, why did you give Naruto 1000 Ryu?" said Chauza. "Do you all remember the cloaked man?" "Well, that was Naruto," Shibi said as their eyes went wide. "So how did you know it was me?" Naruto said, looking at Shibi. "You already know that, answer Naruto," he said with a hidden smirk. Naruto only smiled and shrugged as he looked at the rest of the clan heads. Fine, Noichi said with a chuckle here as he handed Naruto 1000 Ryu. "Tuckle, that was an impressive match, Naruto. I haven't laughed like that since my genin days. I just wish that my nephew was more like you," Naruto said Hiashi, which shocked everyone. "Tuckle, if we are to meet in battle, I would be sure to take the pole out of his ass," Naruto said with a smirk, making Hiashi burst out laughing again. Alright, here you go. Good match, Naruto," Chauza said with a smile. "Thanks," Naruto said as he took the money. As Naruto just walked past both of the sennin without even giving them a second glance, as they both just looked down. As Naruto finally made his way to the last person who started the bet. "Tsume Yuzaka, it's a pleasure," Naruto said smoothly as he reached out his hand for a handshake. As she reached out, he took her hand and placed a small kiss on the back. Tsume felt like electricity went through her body just from the kiss. Naruto gave her one of his foxy-like grin. Tsume felt her face heat up but shoved it down. She leaned closer to his ear and whispered into it. "Forget about some measly little bet, how about I go you something else," she said, giving him a feral grin. Naruto the one not like to be dominated, so he whispered back. "Well then, that's fine, because I always wanted to fuck a wild girl like you in every position until you begged me to put it in," Naruto said with a lustful tone. Tsume blushed red as she just handed Naruto the 1000 yen, who in return grinned. "Hey, what's that?" Naruto said, pointing to Tsume left as she looked over to find nothing, but as she looked back she found her lips being captured by Naruto. As Tsume melted into the kiss that lasted for about a minute until Naruto stepped back. "See ya Tsuheim," Naruto said as he disappeared in a lightning shunshin, leaving a baffled shinobi council and a jealous crowd of girls, especially two twin redhead girls. "Tsume, what the hell was that?" shouted Kushina in a bit of jealousy. "I don't know, but I think I'm in love, Kushina," said Tsume. "I can't believe this, the great Tsume, most undominated woman in Konoha, dominated by a 13-year-old. "Oh, this is just priceless," said Chauza as he started to laugh. "Kiba is not going to like this," muttered Shikamaru. "Time skip. Genin exams part 2. Time skip." "Okay students, for the final tests we are going to do the weapon and ninjutsu portion today," said Iruka. "Now would everyone please form a line," Iruka said as all of the students made a single line except one, who was glaring daggers at a certain blonde student. Iruka noticed the glare and sighed. "Sai, Kiba, please get in line and stop glaring at Naruto," Iruka said, shaking his head. As Kiba got in line, he kept his glare on Naruto, who only turned and smirked while flicking the bird towards him, making his glare increase and double. "Who the hell does this bastard think he is?" shouted Kiba mentally as he kept glaring at Naruto. Naruto turned back as his eyes met with a pair of charcoal black eyes. The girl kept staring at Naruto, who smiled at her and gave a lazy wave as she quickly turned around, feeling the heat rush to her face. What was that?" Satsuki thought as her thoughts drifted off to Naruto. She turned back to see that he was still smiling at her. She immediately scoffed at him and decided to speak to him. "What the hell are you staring at, dope?" said Satsuki with her usual Uchiha demeanor. "Oh nothing, just admiring your stunning body, and I must say god damn you are sexy," said Naruto with a smirk, seeing her face turn bright red. Who the hell is this guy? Satsuki thought, her face becoming red as a tomato. "I mean, if we were the only ones won this field I would just take your clothes off right here and ravage you," Naruto said, getting closer and whispering in her ear, making Satsuki blush turn into a deeper shade of red. Satsuki couldn't believe it. A man who she never even met before could making her blush like this. She tried to glare at Naruto, who only was smiling at her, seeing the red tint of pink on both of her cheeks. "HN," she said, turning back to Iruka while Naruto chuckled, not noticing the two seething girls in the front of the line. "That damn slut," shouted Naruto and Narumi mentally. "Okay everyone, this test will be going by marks, you each will get 10 kunai and 10 shuriken each, understand?" Iruka said, seeing everyone head nod. "Okay, first up. Sakura Haruno. "Yes sir," said Sakura as she grabbed all of the kunai. "I'll show that Naruto baka to not embarrass my Kiba-kun in front of others," Sakura thought. "Cha," she yelled out, throwing the kunai, hitting 4 out of 10. Feeling proud of herself, she grabbed the shuriken and hit in 5 out of 10 for shuriken, just barely getting a scoring passing grade. As she turned to Naruto and gave him a smug look, to Naruto, who in return didn't even acknowledge her. She gained a tick mark and tightened her fist as she was about to rush over there to punch the daylights out of him, but was stopped by Iruka, making her scoff, and went over to fangirl about Kiba. "Total bitch, right?" As there was only minor clapping for the viewing. "Next up, Ino Yamanaka," said Iruka as she stepped up and got a total of 6 out of 10 for kunai and a 6 out of 10 for shuriken. "Good job Ino," Iruka said as she walked back to her spot with a smirk on her face aimed at Sakura. Ino looked over to see Naruto, who turned his head as Naruto electric blue eyes met her pale light blue eyes. They locked eyes with each other that felt like it lasted for hours as he gave her a fox smile which made her blush and turn around quickly, ignoring the clapping. "Next up, Choji Akimichi," Iruka said as Choji walked up to the ring and threw the kunais, getting a 6 out of 10, and for the shuriken getting another 6 out of 10. The crowd burst into applause for the RFT Akimichi as Iruka only smiled and nodded to Choji. "Next up, Shikamaru Nara," Iruka said as the lazy shadow user lazily made his way over to the circle as he picked up the kunai as threw them, getting a 7 out of 10, and throwing the shuriken getting a 6 out of 10 as more clapping came from the shinobi side and civilians. "What a drag," Shikamaru thought with a small smile before returning back to the line. "Next up, Hinata Hyuga," Iruka said as she stepped up. BTW, she is not shy because she was always hang around with Naruto, and Narumi. Hinata got a 9 out of 10 in kunai and a 8 out of 10 in shuriken as the whole field could be heard of cheering and applause from everyone, even the stoic Hiashi had a smile planted on his face. "God work Hinata," Iruka said as she nodded and walked from the circle. When she exited, she noticed that Naruto was checking her out as a blush spread across her face, making her turn red and looking the other way. "Next up, Shino Abru," Iruka called out. As Shino walked to the field, picking up the kunai, throwing them, getting a 8 out of 10, and throwing the kunai getting another 8 out of 10. More cheering could be heard for the Aburm boy as he made his way out of the circle. "Next up, Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze Senju," Iruka said as the cheering got louder for the village heroes. As Narumi walked up and grabbed the kunai and threw them, gracefully hitting a 9 out of 10, she then moved over to the shuriken, throwing them with force, hitting it directly in the bull's eye, scoring another 9 out of 10 as cheers grew even more. But Narumi didn't care about that as she looked over to see her brother not paying attention to her as she only dropped her head, tears forming from her eyes. "Next up, Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze Senju," Iruka said, and more cheers could be heard throughout the area. Naruko walked up and grabbed the 10 kunais and threw them with a lot of force, hitting a perfect 10 out of 10. Naruko grabbed all of the shuriken and threw them with great speed, hitting a 9 out of 10. As the crowd went wild at the display, but just as her sister, she didn't care about them as she looked over to her brother to get approval, but instead Naruto wasn't even turning her direction. As there was a large ache in her heart, she just wanted to cry and ask for forgiveness towards her brother, but she will try to win his heart back, just like when they were kids. Next up, Kiba Inuyasaka. As Kiba made his way to the field, he gained a smug look and shot a glare towards Naruto, who was looking at the sky. "Listen up, dope, let's make a bet," Kiba said, pointing towards Naruto. Naruto looked at him in curiosity for a few seconds. Kiba, I don't really think you want to bet with someone like me," Naruto said, a bit amused. Kiba only scoffed, "Are you in or not?" Naruto shrugged his shoulders, "Sure, what are the conditions?" Naruto said. Kiba grin grew wide. "If I win you will do anything I say for a week and you can't refuse." Naruto was inwardly smirking at this idiot's stupidity. "Well then, if I win then you will walk around naked," Naruto said with a smirk. Kiba instantly paled at that thought. "So do we have a deal?" Naruto said. Kiba only nodded dumbly. "Okay, the bet is if I hit the most targets I win, but if you hit the most target then you win," Kiba said with a smirk. "Okay, fine by me. But the clan heads, assume not to be rude of anything, but is your son stupid?" said Mikoto, who only looked at Kiba with sincere pity. Sigh at this point, I honestly do not know, replied Tsum as she started to pinch the bridge of her nose. Well, I'll tell you something, he is going to lose badly, said Choza, as he tried to hold back his laughter along with the other guys. Back to the match. As Kiba walked to the field, he grabbed the kunai and threw them as hard as he can, hitting a 9 out of 10. As he moved on to the shuriken, he grabbed the shuriken and threw them with incredible force. But unlucky for him, one of them went off target and hit a tree that was in the background. Good job, Kiba, Iruka said. Beat that loser, Kiba said, smugly pointing to Naruto, who was reading Ichiha Paradise. Did you hear me, loser, Kiba shouted. Huh? Oh you say something. Naruto said. Sniff sniff. Everyone turned their head to Kakashi, who had a box of tissues and had tears coming out of his one shown eye. I think I just found my first student, Kakashi said, blowing his nose into the tissue, making everyone sweat drop. You bastard, Kiba said, and was about to rush towards him again, but felt Iruka's hand on his shoulder, causing him to stop. That's enough, Kiba, Iruka said as Kiba stopped and grumbled before going back to his spot. And lastly, Naruto strife, Iruka called out as Naruto made his way up to the field. As Naruto grabbed every kunai and shuriken in both hands. Hey Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto turned around to him and only told him to watch. Naruto looked back to the target and tightened his hands on the ninja tools. And to everyone's shock, the kunai and shuriken started to crackle with intense lightning that was dancing around them. Before anyone can do or say anything, Naruto launched the kunai and shuriken with tremendous force and such speed that the kunai and shuriken implanted ripped through the bullseye, every last weapon breaking through the target. Everyone's jaw dropped, it was so quiet you could hear a needle drop. Then everyone burst into cheers for Naruto. And Naruto, that was amazing, you get extra points, said Iruka as Naruto only shrugged and went back to his spot. But suddenly a whole Sakura started screaming that Naruto cheated. Iruka-sensei, Naruto Baka cheated, there's no way that he can do that, she said, screeching, causing everyone except Kiba, who was frozen, to cover their ears. Hey Sakura, Naruto said as she turned to him. Shut up. He said and then turned back around. Everyone's sweat dropped while Sakura was fuming. Iruka then spoke up before anything could happen. Okay everyone, our last test today is the jutsu portion. When I call your name please step up, Iruka said as he started to read through the list. I'm just going to skip through the civilian kids, some passed, some didn't. Next up Shino Aburm, Iruka said. Shino nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. God job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as he made 3 clones of himself. Iruka nodded. Next substitution as he substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking, Iruka said, as Shino nodded and went through hand signs, and a swarm of bugs came from his sleeve tearing right through the practice dummy. Great job Shino, Iruka said as he gave him a headband and everyone started applauding the Aburmare. Next up Shikamaru Nara, Iruka said. Shikamaru nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. God job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as he made 2 clones of himself. Iruka nodded. Next substitution as he substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking, Iruka said, as Shikamaru nodded and went through hand signs and called out. Shadow imitation shuriken technique, Shikamaru said as the shadows turned into shuriken and ripped the practice dummy apart. As everyone began to cheer for Shikamaru, troublesome, he said as he took his headband and walked back. Next up Choji Akimichi, Iruka said. Choji nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. God job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as he made 2 clones of himself. Iruka nodded. Next substitution as he substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking, Iruka said, as Choji nodded and went through hand signs. Human bullet tank, he called out and turned into a huge ball and crushed the dummy. G job Chaoji, take a headband, he said as Chaoji walked over and picked up a blue headband. Next up Hinata Hyuga, Iruka said. Hinata nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. God job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as she made 3 clones of herself. Iruka nodded. Next substitution as he substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking, Iruka said as she nodded and got into her Taijutsu style. She activated her Byakugan and locked onto the dummy and rushed towards it. 8 trigrams 32 palms, she called out. 2 palm 4 palm 8 palm 16 palm 32 palm, she called out as she hit the chest of the dummy as the whole thing just exploded. Excellent, Hinata, Iruka said as he gave her a headband. She then turning back around but not before taking a peep at Naruto. Next up Sakura Haruno, Iruka said. Sakura nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. Good job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as she made 3 clones of herself. Iruka nodded. Next substitution, he said as she substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking, Iruka said as she nodded and went through hand signs. I honestly don't know what she can do. So yeah, she get a pass number useless here, Iruka said as he gave her a headband and quickly moved on. Next up Ino Yamanaka, Iruka said. Ino nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. God job. Next, clone jutsu, Iruka said as she made 3 clones of herself. Iruka nodded next substituting as she substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking Iruka said as nodded and went through hand signs. Water style. Water bullet. She called out as the water bullets broke right through the chest of the dummy. Perfect Iruka said as he handed her a headband. Next up Kiba Berm Iruka said. As he slowly made his way to the field ignoring the snickers from the people. He only nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Iruka. Good job next, clone jutsu Iruka said as she made 3 clones of himself. Iruka nodded next substituting as he substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking Iruka said as he nodded and went through hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Kiba called out as he burned the dummy into a crisp. Good job Kiba Iruka said and gave him a headband. Kiba only nodded and slowly walked back to his spot. But not before shooting a dirty glare towards Naruto. Okay next Satsuki Uchiha, Iruka said as the cheering got louder. Good luck Naruto said with a smile. TCH whatever she said turning around and walking away. But for some reason her heart felt warm when he said that to her. She just shook those thoughts off and made her way to the field. She did the transformation jutsu and turned into her mother. Good job next, clone jutsu Iruka said as she made 4 clones of herself. Iruka nodded next substituting he said as she substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking Iruka said as she nodded and went through hand signs. Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. She called out as it met with the dummy and burned the thing alive. Great job Satsuki Iruka said as he gave her a headband. HMPH she said and turned around and walked towards the smiling Naruto. She quickly looked away with a small blush on her face. What the hell is wrong with me she thought. Next up Naruto Uzumaki Namaki Senju as the crowd went wild for a bit and died down a little after as she walked into the field. She nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Kushina. Good job, next clone jutsu Iruka said as she made 5 shadow clones of herself. Iruka nodded next substituting as she substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking Iruka said as nodded. She then turned to the dummy. Suddenly chakra chains burst from her back and sliced the practice dummy into pieces. The crowd started cheering louder than before. Great job Naruto Iruka said and handed her the headband. She then took a glance at her brother who was looking at the sky. She felt like she was about to cry but forced it down and walked back to her same spot. Next up Narumi Uzumaki Namaki Senju, the crowd burst into cheers and calmed down a little after she made her way into the field. Are you ready Iruka said as she nodded and did the transformation jutsu and turned into Minato. Good job, next clone jutsu Iruka said as she made 4 shadow clones of herself. Iruka nodded next substituting as she substituted with a log. Now do a jutsu of you liking Iruka said as nodded. She then turned to the dummy. She summoned 2 shadow clones and reached her hand out. The clones both put their hands over the original and started to claw on the top of her hand, forming a Rasengan. As she turned around with incredible speed and launched herself forward to the dummy and drove the Rasengan through the dummy. Crowd started to cheer like never before. Great job Narumi, Iruka said and handed her the headband. She glanced over towards her brother looking for praise, but it never came as he was still looking at the sky. She felt a pang inside her heart and slowly moved back towards her spot with her head down. And lastly Naruto Strife Iruka called out, but there was silence as Naruto made his way to the field. Naruto are you ready Iruka said as Naruto gave a small nod. Okay first transformation Iruka said and Naruto turned into the 3rd Hokage. Great job Naruto Iruka said, next clone jutsu Iruka said as Naruto only shrugged and suddenly 30 shadow clones popped in existence. What beat but I didn't see any hand signs Iruka said and turned to Naruto. Everyone jaw dropped once again because of the young blonde. And Naruto how did you do that Iruka said astonished. Naruto looked into the sky and then replied. Hard work he said not taking his eyes off the sky. Iruka sweat dropped and turned back. Oh okay Naruto, next do a jutsu of your liking, Iruka said as Naruto stared at him strangely before looking back to everyone. Everyone and I mean everyone please step back or you might get hit in the crossfire Naruto said leaving everyone confused but they just stepped back in curiosity. You too Iruka sensei Naruto said as Iruka shrugged and stepped back also. Naruto went through hand signals faster than anyone could see. Obito and Kakashi eyes went wide as they tried to see this jutsu with their Sharingan but for some reason they couldn't read it was too fast for them. Minato, Kakashi said in a serious tone. Yes Kakashi, Minato responded. Those hand signs are faster than the Sharingan Kakashi said and Minato eyes went wide, so did with the clan heads. He's right said Mikoto as she looked to Naruto in shock. What the hell is that jutsu they all thought. Naruto suddenly stopped as lightning started to crackle around his hand. That looks like my Chidori Kakashi yelled out in surprise. As everyone started to pay closer attention to Naruto. Did everyone shocked the lightning disappeared as Naruto aimed it into the sky. The lightning was shot into the sky. As everyone thought that was it until they felt raindrops hit their head. As they all looked up to see that the clouds started to turn gray and rain began to pour. Suddenly a massive roar could be heard from the sky, shocking the hell out of everyone. They all looked in awe and fear as a giant dragon made from pure lightning started to come from the clouds. Naruto, who was holding the electricity, suddenly moved his hand down in a slash motion. The dragon let out a mighty roar and in speed that Minato had trouble to track hit the dummy in half of the training field, became nothing but dust. Everyone's jaws were dropped, nobody dared to move or make sound. "Yo Iruka-sensei, did I do good?" Naruto said nonchalantly. Everyone turned their attention and looked to Naruto with amazement and a bit of fear. People then began to break out into thunderous cheers and screaming Naruto name. "Why yeah Naruto, that was simply amazing, you get extra marks," Iruka said as Naruto smiled. "Here's your headband," Iruka said as Naruto took it and tied it around his neck. With clan heads, complete silence was hanging around the group until Chauza broke it. What the hell did I just witness?" he said, turning to Minato. "I honestly do not know," Minato said in complete shock. "Troublesome," Shikaku said. "Okay, I don't think that he is just a simple genin, hell he could even be a jonin with that jutsu," said Chauza. "Minato," Jiraiya said seriously as Minato looked to him. "We have to ask Naruto, where did he learn that?" Jiraiya said as Minato nodded. "In a deep underground lair." "Lord Danzo, what should we do about this?" Naruto person said, a root member. Danzo was in deep thought. He could get the boy into Route 10 under his thumb, and if he refuses then he will die. But the only question is how. As he then turned back to his root ninja. "Nothing for now, just keep an eye on the boy," Danzo responded. "Hi Lord Danzo," the root nin said as he disappeared. "Soon, Minato, you will fall and I will take over Konoha," Danzo said as he turned back around with an evil grin. "Back to the academy." "What?" Naruto said as all the students were looking at him in a mix of awe, fear and a bit of lust as all just turned away and looked to the talking Iruka. Iruka then gives his speech about being the ninja and stuff. Time skip. Naruto was walking around the village gaining a lot of attention from people, especially the girls. He was about to go to the ramen shop, but an Anbu appeared in front of him. "Naruto-san, Lord Hokage wishes to speak to you," the Anbu said. Naruto gave an frustrated sigh before vanishing along with the Anbu. Hokage office. Naruto appeared in the Hokage office only to meet the sight of Hiruzen, Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kushina, Obito and Kakashi. "Yes Lord Hokage," Naruto said with a heated gaze looking at Minato. "Naruto," Minato said softly. "Lord Hokage, is this a shinobi matter or a personal matter?" Naruto said, looking at him, his glare hardening. "Boy Gaki, where did you learn the technique?" Jiraiya said, looking at Naruto in curiosity. Naruto looked at him for a couple of seconds and turned back to Minato, ignoring Jiraiya. "Yes Lord Hokage," Naruto said, seeing Minato flinch at his title. Minato sighed in defeat. "Naruto, how did you attain all of this power?" from Minato said, looking towards his son. Naruto shrugged and told him plainly. "Dragons," Naruto said, looking back into Minato's eyes. "Gaki, be serious, this isn't a game," Jiraiya said, getting a bit pissed off. "Shut the hell up, you old buffin, I have a name, and it's not Gaki," Naruto said with a cold glare, making Jiraiya tense up a little bit. But before Minato could respond, Minato spoke. "Enough," Minato shouted, staring at both Naruto and Jiraiya. "Sigh Naruto, seriously, where did you get your power?" Minato said with authority in his voice. "I just watched," Naruto said as he went through a valley of Hansen's hand signs. To everyone's absolute shock, Naruto summoned a small blue dragon inside the room that wrapped itself around his neck. "Yes Naruto, you have summoned me?" said the blue dragon, looking down toward Naruto. "Sorry Drago, there's nothing important right now, just an explanation," Naruto responded to the dragon now known as Drago. "Alright, Naruto, do you still have those snacks you promised?" Drago said, his tail wagging a bit. "Haha, yeah here," Naruto said as he tossed a piece of chocolate inside Drago's mouth. Tasty. "I'll see you around Naruto," Drago said as he disappeared in a poof of smoke. "See," Naruto said as he turned around to see everyone's jaw dropped. "So can I go now?" Naruto said as Minato only nodded, his jaw still open as Naruto disappeared in lightning, shocking them once again. What the hell, did that kid just summon a damn dragon?" shouted Tsunade. It seems so, we will talk about this at home," Minato said as they all nodded. "I'm Skip Namika's household." Brought to you by Naruto, getting a bone-crushing hug from the Ichiraku's family. Things were tensed at the dinner table. Everyone kept taking glances at Naruto, who was silently eating. "Never thought that I would be in this damn house again," Naruto thought as Minato decided to break the ice. "So, Naruto, what kind of things did you learn while traveling?" Minato said nervously. "Regular things," Naruto said as he slowly continued to eat. "What do you mean by regular things?" Naruto-kun, Kushina said. Naruto shrugged. "Regular things," he said as Jiraiya grew a tick mark. "Hey Gaki, respect your mother," he yelled out. Naruto looked at Jiraiya with the most coldest glare that even changed the temperature in the room. "My mother is dead," Naruto said, his tone chilling, making them shiver. Naruto stood up. "Sorry Hokage-sama, but I lost my appetite, please tell me where I would be sleeping," Naruto said. In the last room on the right," Minato said in defeat. As Naruto just walked past them without even looking back and made it to his room, closing the door. Kushina burst into tears as she ran upstairs into her bedroom. Kushina Minato called about, but it fell on deaf ears as she was already gone. Sigh I will beep 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 beep. Minato was cut off as his watch beeped. Damn it Minato groaned out. Let me guess Hokage office Tsunade said. Yes Minato responded in frustration as he turned to Tsunade. Mom could you please check on Kushina for me he said. Of course Minato Tsunade said. Alright Minato said as he disappeared in a yellow flash. Sigh I will see you at the compound honey, Jiraiya said kissing her cheek and disappearing in a puff of smoke. Alright you girls get to bed too I will check on your mouth, Tsunade said as they both nodded sadly and went to their rooms. Sigh now for you Kushina she said sadly and made her way up the stairs. Small time skip. Knock, knock, Naruto it's Kushina may I talk to you? Kushina heard no answer, so she slowly entered Naruto's room only to found no one. She panicked and started to look around until she felt something grab her waist. She was about to pull away until she looked up and immediately got a nosebleed. What are you doing in my room Kushina-chan Naruto said whispering into her ear. I was just seeing if you were alright Kushina said stuttering it out. Why should I believe you, or are you here to do something else to me, Kushina Naruto said with a smirk seeing her blush. And no she said moving her arms around only for it brush up against Naruto manhood that made her blush even more. Hey Kami how is Sachi so big? I know Uzumaki males tend to be larger than most. But this is ridiculous in comparison, he makes Minato look like a child. Well it's not like it's that of a big feat considering how small Minato is generally. I wonder if I should take a peek no what the hell am I thinking he is my son, but she was cut off from her thoughts as she was picked up bridal style and laid on his bed gently. Then Naruto-kun what are you doing Kushina said looking at Naruto who was walking closer to her. Something that Minato should be doing right now Naruto responded. As he slowly crawled on the bed making her blush. Lemon scene. Sachi we shouldn't be doy, but she was cut off as Naruto connected his lips with hers she tried to push away, but she gave up and melted into the kiss. They stayed like that for a couple of minutes until Naruto broke apart. Kushina-chan do you want to go further, Naruto said in a sultry tone. Kushina gave a nod as he captured her lips with his again, as they stayed like that for a couple more minutes. Naruto broke apart the kiss and leaned to whispered in her ear seductively. I want you Shina-chan Naruto said as she blushed redder the color of her hair. Kushina bit the bottom of her lip and purred. I want you to Naruto-kun she responded. God you're so big, I can feel you through your shorts she said and she reached inside his shorts and grabbed him manhood and slowly started to rub it. Naruto then smirked, well Kushina, how would you like to get a better view of it? Lemon skip. They both panted heavily. Wow so this is what real hex feel like, you're so much better than Minato she said looking at Naruto. Well then let's go again he said as he smashed their lips together, the only sounds that could be heard were the sounds of flesh clapping together the entire night. Time skip. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day bye.